Hi, for those who do not know me, I'm Catherine Burnett. I'm the Director of East Asian Studies program here on campus, and I'm delighted to welcome you all to this very, very special evening. I am grateful that you've all come to join us tonight. You are in for a treat. We are going to consider the topic of North Korea, and our aim is to better understand North Korea through literature and politics, art, and life. And so we have an amazing group of speakers for you this evening. We are grateful for the collaboration of a number of departments on campus, and I would like to recognize art history, Asian American studies, comparative literature, East Asian languages and cultures, history, political science, and the university writing program for their support. Now, before we get going, we are very honored to have the Associate Chancellor of Global Affairs, Professor Joanna Regulska, here to offer some introductory remarks. Joanna?
Good evening, everybody. I am truly pleased and honored really to be part of this wonderful gathering. I think this is the first time that we're actually focusing specifically on North Korea, which I think it's a historical moment, and I think it's really also very, very important. I had a pleasure of visiting South Korea a few times. And in fact, at one of my visits, I went all the way to the border. And I saw North Korea from close, but obviously also very far away. So this was a very interesting moment, especially for me coming from Central and Eastern Europe, from Poland, where the whole notion of the divide and walls and bridges and impossibility of crossing those boundaries is very familiar. Growing up in Poland during the communist times, and indeed was very difficult to cross many of those borders. As Professor Burnett mentioned, many units here at UC Davis are actually engaging in teaching about the region, connecting with the colleagues across Asia, connecting with the colleagues with South Korea. We have numerous of exchange programs. We have numerous of students. I think in the audience we have some students from South Korea and members also of our community. So our relationship with South Korea actually are very strong. And I'm very pleased to welcome the Consul General and the Deputy Consul here to UC Davis. I understand this is your first visit to our campus, and I hope that this is many more of the visits to come, given that we have actually already a history of strong relationship. We may not have students from North Korea, nor particular visiting scholars. We don't have the agreements of partnerships of cooperation. But as already Professor Burnett indicated, North Korea is very important part of our political landscape. And that's why this particular event even is so more important. We need to remember about the lives of people who are living there, who are struggling, who are facing challenges of everyday survival, whose dreams and hopes are there, but not necessarily might be realized in an immediate future. So our responsibility as a public university is actually not to forget about those nations and those places where the struggles take place. And being responsible for international programs, I have traveled to some of those. And at one point, a few years ago, when I was traveling with the Institute for International Education, we said, okay, so we are on our way to Myanmar. Myanmar was just opening up. And we said, well, and then there's Cuba, and then Cuba did open up. And we listed North Korea also. So there's a hope that North Korea also will open up. We don't know when, but certainly it is important. But I think, as I said, because we are the public university, we do have a responsibility for educating global citizens, educating our students with a certain sense of knowledge of history, with a sense of struggles, with a sense of what kind of differences, but also what kind of similarities across the globe different places and different nations face. So creating that environment of the global education means also focusing on particular problems, global challenges that the world face. Very much here at UC Davis, we're spending time on looking at the global climate change, issues of poverty, issues of inequality. In North Korea, also, there's another aspect, and that is an issue of security and nuclear power proliferation, challenges that are, for the future, extremely important. And for our students, they have to know and they have to understand the context. I was just at the conference of the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities in Austin, and there were several panels, obviously, about the shifting political landscape. This is a topic that we can't avoid these days. This is a topic that is very current. North Korea came several times during these discussions, and its relevance to China and the relationship with China, relationship with South Korea, disputes in South China Sea that remain unresolved, new political landscape of relationships that Chinese partners had with Philippines, with Myanmar, with other Asian countries. And obviously the relationship between China and US is also critical, and both China and US are playing an important role in what's the future of North Korea might be. So I think the importance of this conversation is precisely because of the changing political landscape too. It's not only about the culture, it's not about only arts, but it's also about how political actors are cooperating or not cooperating, and what the future is. So without maybe further ado, I'm going to turn to experts who know far more about North Korea than I do. But I really want to thank so much Professor Burnett for actually bringing us together, because the conversation, I think, is extremely important. So thank you so much for offering me time to speak.
That's wonderful. We are so grateful for those remarks, and so for bringing these amazing people to campus for this historic event. Before we begin, there's just one thing I want to address. We made a change in the program. It is as listed on the programs that you have, but Mr. Mark Lambert was on the flyer. He was coming to join us this evening, but as head of the Korean desk, but he was to go to Korea because of events there. But we are fortunate to be joined by Mr. Will Cobb, who's the Republic of Korea unit chief in the State Department, to speak in his place, and he's going to give a great talk. So, on hand, we have Mr. Cobb and our Consul General from South Korea, so two government representatives, an author, an artist, and a defector from North Korea. And so each one is going to be introduced by a different UC Davis faculty member who will step right up to the lectern without introduction, introduce himself and our speaker. So that's the program, how it's going to work, and we ask you to be quick about it because we we want to hear the speakers. And so they will give a brief introduction to people who deserve lengthy introductions.